Yeah, hi everybody, Dr. Jason W. Morrison, theologist, New South Wales, Australia. I found this story. More conscientious objectors in trouble over the Jehovah Witnesses' beliefs, and Turkmenistan. 3 more conscientious objectors jailed. Oh gosh, come on. Why do they do this? What are they doing it for? 3 Jehovah Witnesses were jailed in July, 1 year each, for refusing compulsory military service on the grounds of religious conscience. They are among at least 5 conscientious objectors jailed so far in 2018. All of them Jehovah Witnesses, persecutors, officers, are still investigating others. 3 more Jehovah Witnesses conscientious objectors were jailed in July to punish them for refusing compulsory military service on the grounds of conscience. Each one received a 1-year term in an ordinary regime labour camp. These are their names, which I can't read, are likely to be sent to serve their sentences at Zedai labour camp, where 3 other Jehovah Witness prisoners of conscience are already being held. Dear, if the Jehovah Witness religion wasn't there, they wouldn't be doing this. The jailing brings to at least 5 the number of conscientious objectors jailed in Turkmenistan for refusing military service. The other 2 imprisoned Jehovah Witnesses conscientious objectors were these people, both in Zedai labour camp, were jailed in January for 1 year each. Another Jehovah Witness prisoner of conscience, was whoever he is also imprisoned. Now, Jehovah Witnesses told Forum 18 that despite repeated prison amnesties, including in March and June 2018, they've seen even murderers freed, have not been freed under amnesty. Persecutors' officers are also investigating other Jehovah Witness young men who have refused to perform military service on grounds of religious conscience, Jehovah Witnesses told Forum 18. Forum 18 tried to call the human rights ombudsperson, who was named by the government, appointed Parliament. Her assistant, who did not give his name, told Forum 18 on 27th of July that she was on a work trip and would be back at her desk on the 30th of July. However, each time Forum 18 called on the 30th of July, her phone went unanswered. Many Muslim prisoners of conscience. In addition to 6 known Jehovah Witness prisoners of conscience, dozens of Muslims have been jailed for exercising freedom of religious or belief. In many cases, relatives do not know if they are dead or alive. On the 11th of July, the Supreme Court in the capital of Ashgabat upheld the 12-year jail terms handed down in Balkan region in August 2017 to punish 5 Muslims who met with others to study their faith using the works of the late Turkish theologian Said Nursi. 4 of the 5 are believed to be in the top security prison at Adnan Tepe, where prisoners have suffered torture and death from abuse or neglect. Turkmenistan offers no alternative to its compulsory military service. Military service for men aged between 18 to 27 is generally 2 years. Article 58 of the 2016 Constitution describes defence as a sacred duty, and everyone that states that military service is compulsory for men. Turkmenistan ignored the recommendation of a July 16 legal review of the draft constitution by the Organisation for Security and Cooperation that it should include a provision for alternative civilian service. Young men who refuse military service on grounds of religious conscience face persecution under the Code. The punishes refusal to serve in the armed forces in peacetime with the maximum penalty of 2 years imprisonment or 2 years corrective labour. In March 2017, at the end of its review, the Turkmenistan recorded under the International Covenant of Civilian and Political Rights, the United Nations Human Rights Committee again called on the authorities to end punishments for those unable to perform military service on grounds of conscience and induce an alternative civilian service. The state party should revise its legal legislation without undue delay with a view to clearly recognising the right to conscientious objection to military service. The committee provided for alternative service of civilian nature outside the military sphere and not under military command for conscientious objectors. and hold all prosecutions of individuals who refuse to perform military service on grounds of conscience, and release those who are currently serving prison sentences. Officials refuse to explain to Forum 18 why they do not implement the United Nations recommendation, with the 2 jailings in January 2018, less than a year after the UN report was issued. Turkmenistan began imprisoning conscientious objectors, again after a break of 4 years. He got a 1-year sentence, this fella. On the 11th of July, Gurban Sultan EJE District Court in the northern Dashagaz region convicted 20-year-old Jehovah Witness, whoever he is, poor fella, under Criminal Code Article 219, Part 1. Jehovah Witnesses told Forum 18. The court sentenced him to 1 year's imprisonment in ordinary regime labour camp. Rosmatov appealed against his conviction to the court. However, it is not known if the appeal was ever heard or has yet been heard. Telephones at court were inaccessible when Forum 18 tried to call on the 30th of July. Rosman is currently being held in this place. If the regional court rejects his appeal, he will be set to serve his sentence in an ordinary regime labour camp. This guy's got 2 one-year sentences. On July 6th, officers of the district there in eastern Lapat region took 18-year-old Jehovah's Witnesses there into pre-trial detention, claiming that he had failed to appear at prosecutor's office, Jehovah's Witnesses told Forum 18. However, neither Genevieve nor his parents ever received an official summons to appear at the prosecutor's office, and Genevieve never signed any document limiting his movement. He challenged the pre-trial detention order. On 17th of July, the district court convicted him under the criminal code. The court sentenced him to 1 year's imprisonment in ordinary regime labour camp. He decided not to appeal against his conviction. Also on July 17, the same court convicted 18-year-old Jehovah's Witness Masak under criminal code article. Jehovah's Witnesses told Forum 18. The court sentenced him to 1 year's imprisonment in ordinary regime labour camp, and he decided not to appeal against his conviction. These people are being held in Labat Regional Investigation Prison in the regional capital of Turkmenabad, and as neither chose to appeal against their convictions, they are expected to be transferred soon to an ordinary regime labour camp to serve their sentences. Imminent transfer to Sidai labour camp. These people are likely to be sent to serve their sentences at the ordinary regime labour camp in the desert near Sidai, in Lapat region. Many other prisoners of conscious jail to punish them for exercising the right of freedom of religion or belief have been held in the camp. The other 2 imprisoned Jehovah's Witnesses, conscientious objectors, Arslan whoever, were sent there after their January convictions. Oh dear. As held at this camp, his fellow Jehovah's Witnesses there, he was arrested during the March 2015 raid in his home, after which he was tortured. He is serving a 4-year prison term from 19th of May 2015 on charges of allegedly inciting religious hatred, which he strongly denies, but his real crime seems to have been hosting a meeting for worship of the Jehovah's Witnesses. So, there's that story. These people, these conscientious objectors, I suppose it's up to them. If I had to serve, I'd go. I'm not the youngest fellow around, but I would go. Not to do harm, but just to serve the country in some capacity or another. This is Dr. Jason W. Morrison, theologist. I think you have to go of Romans 13, don't you, on that one? Bye for now.